So, hey, Cathy, I am so excited to talk to you this morning about how to get your ideas in your head actually into a book. Now, I know you are the author of 9 books, but even better than that, which they're huge accomplishments and they're great books, and we're going to talk about that. But you've actually coached 170 people into getting their book done. Now, while we're in the middle of this pandemic, epidemic, people are stuck at home. I think this is a great time for people to take some time and go write their book.
Absolutely. I think this is the time. If you have hours that you're at home or not in front of the audiences that you're normally in front of or whatever, this is the time to write your book. Absolutely.
So I know you've got you've got processes on how to help people write the book. So let's say I'm home, the kids are doing a couple hours of school work, I've already done the laundry, the dogs have been fed, I've got some time in my office. What's my first step?
Your first step is to get a plan. Because I've heard some people say, well, you just start writing, just start writing. No, you really don't just start writing. You get a plan. And to put a strategic plan together for your book that aligns with your business or your goals for your book. So to first be really clear, why are you writing this book? What do you hope this book will do for your business, for your career? So how does it align? Are you using your book as curriculum for your course, your online course? Are you going to be handing it to coaching clients? Is it to get you in the door for speaking engagements? What is your purpose? So being really, really clear about why not just why you're wanting to get your message out there, but how do you plan to integrate the book into your strategic business?
Now,
So
that sounds good, but how do I get there? Like I've just, right now it's so hard to focus with everything going on in the world. How do I even start to get that kind of clarity?
Well, hopefully you go back to your positioning statement. Is what are you all about? Lois and I talk about this all the time. Lois is my co-author on the speaker author. And we talk about the importance of your positioning statement. What are you all about? Why are you out there speaking? Why are you out there wanting to write a book? There's some message that you want to share with the world. There's some problem that you solve. And being really clear about that, and then thinking about your book as a tool that will help amplify your message and to get that message out there even more.
So shameless plug, this is Lois Kramer we're talking about, who is one of the most amazing people on the planet, generous soul, kind spirit, lovely lady, one of the most awesome friends anybody could ever have.
Yes.
And yeah, she's amazing. And you folks came out with this book called Speaker Author last year. And I do know that every single person I know in the speaking world has a copy of that book because you do start with that positioning statement. So shameless plug for the book and for Lois and okay, you. But you've also got a different strategy as well, where let's say people have just been writing just thoughts, and it could be about healthcare or mindfulness or just thoughts on their business or their memoirs. You've also got a book on that called Blog to Book on and you have it right there. Can you talk a little bit about that book?
Yes, I love this book. And it's interesting because Lois actually inspired it. Lois and Lisa Braithwaite, 2 very good friends. I was at Influence one year, and they both came up to me in different times and said, gosh, Cathy, I've got all this great content I know I have a book there, but I have no idea how to take it from all of this content to a book. Can you help? And I thought, oh my gosh, yes, that's to me, that just seems so easy. And so then I realized that I should provide some coaching services. And then I realized, I should probably write the book too. And so I actually modeled Blog to Book by taking my past blogs and then organizing them into a book. So, but again, you have to have this master plan of what are you about? What is your message? What is your unifying message for that blog to book? And then how do you then assemble the contents in a logical way that will guide your reader through your material?
That's exactly right. And you and I both know of some of our friends who have just taken all their blogs and threw them together in a book and said, look, I have a book. And we cringe when we see that, don't we, Cathy?
Yes, we do. Because it's sort of like higgledy-piggledy. There's some redundancy, there's some overlap, there's some things that are not evergreen. There's some classic problems of just taking your blogs as they stand and just slapping them into a book. You're not doing your reader a service by doing that. What you're wanting to do is guide them through a discussion. So it means culling and curating the information carefully so that you have a wonderful experience for your reader.
And I
And
think that's really key. A
Mhm.
wonderful experience for the reader. Because some of our friends have written this book out of therapy for themselves or because they just felt like, oh, I want to be a published author, and they really didn't care about the value they're bringing to the reader.
Yeah, being all about the reader is something I work with my clients all the time, because sometimes I'll see their writing and it's good writing, but it's all about them. And one of the things I like to share is your book, while it may be about you, it is for your reader.
Oh, I
And
love that. I
that's
love that.
it's such an important distinction because if it's all about you, it's just an exercise in narcissism, really. And you don't want that. You don't want that. You want to be helping your readers. So it's really understanding what does your reader need. And there's some exercises I love to do. One of my favorite one is writing a letter to your reader at the beginning of this process. So before you write the first word, really identify who is this book for? Who are you wanting to help? What are their issues? What are their challenges? How can your experience and your expertise help to um, help that reader who so desperately needs what you have to say?
I totally agree with that. And I love that exercise, dear reader. I wrote this book for you so that it's all about the reader, not about the author.
Yes.
And
Yes, and frankly, that helps a lot of my authors because they are sort of feeling funky that, oh my gosh, I don't really want to write this book out of ego. That doesn't feel right. And yet, you know, I am writing about me. So, but if you keep thinking, well, what is it that you know and what is it that you've experienced that can be a gift to your reader, that can be a gift to help them solve that problem that they're dealing with?
I think that is such a great point, Cathy, and thank you for raising that. That's an exercise I think I'm going to try in my next book. Now, do you mention that exercise in your book, the On Your Mark book?
You know, I, I, I don't know. I'm trying to if that's something I've developed since then, or with that, I don't recall right now.
But your book On Your Mark, that's kind of how to get started, isn't it?
Yes, it's all about getting started, and so there is quite a bit about getting focused on your purpose, getting focused on your reader and who your reader is, and understanding their needs and concerns before you begin the book.
Um,
Absolutely.
do you happen to have a copy with you that you could show people just real quickly in the video? I love that. Okay, so wait, On Your Mark from first word to first draft in 6 weeks. I
Yes.
think that is great clarity for people, especially, we're sitting around. We could be sitting in our houses for 6 weeks. People could have a book done in 6 weeks.
Absolutely. And I'll just, one more shameless plug is I'll say that the audiobook has just come out. I have recorded it, and so that is now available on Audible. So get it while it's hot.
And you don't have to worry about shipping with the audiobook, which is fantastic
That's
right now.
true.
It's very prescient right now. So one last question is for people who kind of struggle with the actual sitting down and writing. Like some people say, I have all these thoughts in my head, but I don't feel as though I'm a good writer. And you and I both know where this comes from. Maybe their first grade teacher or their fifth grade teacher said, you're bad at writing. And that has kind of stuck with people their whole life. What do you counsel them on?
Yeah, for me, it was my sixth grade teacher. I blame her. I mean, she told me I could not write. And so I like to prove her wrong. But one of the things that people can do is, first of all, just confronting that negative voice and saying, we all have experience. Even the most experienced writer has that negative voice inside their head. So learning that, dealing with that negative voice is just one of your jobs as an author, and that you're going to need to quiet that voice. And so recognizing that it's there and keep going in spite of it. I remember one time I was writing a book, and I think it was my third book, and the whole time I was writing it, I was thinking, this is crap. This is crap. But I just kept writing. And it was a book that I co-authored with my mom. And so we went out to lunch that day, and she said, well, how's the book coming, Kath? And I said, it's crap. I mean, it's really bad. And she said, oh, it's probably not that bad. So we came back to the office and looked at it. And you know what? It was not bad. It was not crap. It was, now, did it need to be cleaned up? Of course. Anything I write needs to be cleaned up. But it was good. And so getting used to turning off that negative voice inside our heads is huge. And quite honestly, as a book coach, that sometimes is my number one job, is just telling people that they can do it and what they're writing is not crap. It needs to be edited, but it's not crap, and they can do it.
And I'm fond of saying I can outline, I can write, and I can edit, but if I do all three of those things, it's a bad idea. Bad idea.
Very bad idea. Only write, and when you write, just write. Turn off the editor, turn off the negative voice, and just let it go. Some of my authors are finding that they're able to dictate their books just as effectively. And with Zoom, one of my clients is going on. She's actually just setting it on record. She is speaking into it, of course, with the transcript that we get. She's able to take the transcript, clean it up, boom.
I love it.
Kathy, the other day, she did 1,800 words in 18 minutes.
Wow, that's impressive. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a great technique. I love that technique.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Now, Kathy, you help so many people. Where can people find you if they are interested in getting hold of you to get more information?
Well, they can go to my website, cathyfyock.com, CATHYF as in Frank, YOCK, cathyfyock.com, or Cathy at cathyfyock.com would be a great way to reach out to me. I'd love to schedule a strategy session to talk with you about your book and your ideas and see if it makes sense for us to talk about working together.
Kathy, you're always so generous with your time, and you've always been so lovely with me. And I thank you so much for your time today. Have a great one.
Thanks so much.